Everybody, this is Henry Fleischer here from the CannaBiz Dispatch, also the CBD Business Networking Group on Facebook. And right here we have Taylor North of Future Farm Hemp. And
Yeah.
Taylor, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So first of all, my name is Taylor again. I'm from Future Farm Hemp. So we are located up in Baldwin, Wisconsin, about 45 minutes east of the Twin Cities. So Future Farm Hemp actually started as Future Farm Grown. Future Farm Grown is a produce company, actually, a hydroponic lettuce and microgreen facility up here. We have a 27,000 square foot greenhouse, which we've been working out of for about 10 years. This will actually be our 11th year in production of doing produce. We've supplied the Twin Cities down to Chicago, all throughout kind of that region with fresh produce and microgreens. Up until about 2 years ago when we decided to get involved in the hemp space. And that's where Future Farm Hemp really came about. So Future Farm Grown, it's still going. So we still do deep water culture, lettuce and microgreen production. But we did start a new branch, so Future Farm Hemp. We knew that we were good at germinating seeds on a commercial level for lettuce production. And we decided to just kind of use that skill in the hemp industry. So jumping into the hemp industry, we were somewhat novice in the whole cannabis side of growing, but we did start with germinating those seedlings, doing everything to the standards that we did our lettuce production, and we learned a lot that first year. We actually did end up doing about 200,000 seedlings that first year, including some R&D with like plant tape and other types of plug systems that we were using. When it comes to my background, I started with Future Farm Grown about 2.5, 3 years ago now. I did manage the produce side of the company and then worked into the hemp side. After we started that first year with germinating seedlings for farmers, we decided that the business was growing and we wanted to keep growing it into its own business. So eventually, as we adopted a retail line of products and started bringing on wholesale clients for the CBD retail line and end product line, we actually decided to split the businesses. So Future Farm Grown then became Future Farm Grown and Future Farm Hemp. We were operating out of the same greenhouse here in Baldwin for quite some time, about 1.5 years. And as our retail line grew, we knew we had a goal in mind of supporting our farmers. So our goal was never just to produce seedlings, sell the seedlings, and then send farmers on their way and hope that they can, sell it and figure out how to do the rest. So our goal was really to support those farmers throughout. So now what we do is we partner with genetic companies in Colorado, Oregon, places where they've been super stable. We like their genetics. We've grown them. We just like the processes they have in place. So we've partnered with them. We then get those seeds in. We contract farmers out for their seedlings. We get them their seed or seedlings, whatever they'd like. We then offer 12-month support year round. So you get the seedlings from us, and then you automatically become one of our partners with the purchase of your seed or seedlings. We then offer support throughout the summer. We host 30-day Zoom meetings with all of our private farmers, talking from everything from, filling out all your state paperwork, making sure you have all of your required items in for them, to pest and disease scouting, looking for males, all of that, until ultimately we reach the end of harvest season. And at harvest season, we help our farmers find a processor to work with. We do have a processing license because we make CBD retail products in the lab that we have, but we do not actually process the plants down into crude or isolate or distillate. But we partner with people that do a really good job at it and have certain certifications that we require. Organic is being one of them. So we partner with these people. We help them find a processor. From there, they can choose to do whatever they would like with it. Or if we have the need, we actually will buy that back and use it in our retail and wholesale line of products.
Oh, wow. So that's really interesting.
Kind of a mouthful, yeah.
I know it's really interesting to grow regular produce and also have to make a line of hemp. So what was it that triggered hey, let's start producing some hemp?
Yeah, so the owner of Future Farm, Steve Meyer, he is super innovative. He's always on the forefront of new stuff going on. And that is what makes us so competitive in this market is he's always out there out front trying to, figure out the new thing, do the new thing. And then it's up to people like us that work for him to kind of, choose which direction we want to go and then just run with it and make sure that we make the business decisions to get us successful in that area. So when hemp came along, we decided that, yes, this is something that we wanted to the space we wanted to be in. So we decided to go that route. And then once we got involved in it a little bit, we actually got super impressed by all of the benefits that the plant offered. It fit our main mission of helping people live better lives, which is something that we've been trying to, accomplish on the grown side as well. It just kind of fit in. So we knew that this helped to reach our business-based goals and our mission. So we decided, this is a place we want to play in. Initially, like I said, we were just going to do seedlings for farmers, offer the plants because we'd worked in the plant space for a long time. But as soon as we realized the benefits that came from CBD and how it was helping people around us, and then all of the employees, we started trying it. And we're like, this is awesome. So he was like, you know what, let's create our own product line, because at that time there was also so much CBD from everywhere else. We all know this. There was some from overseas. People didn't know how to dose. They didn't know what went into them, like what was considered a good product. And so that was another one of our goals. It's like, okay, well, if we're going to offer these seeds and seedlings and be involved in the hemp space, we want to make sure that the people buying the end product have the guidance and the information they need to be able to pick a good, high quality product. So we're like, you know what, let's just offer that good, high quality product. And then, so we offered the seedlings in the end line, and then the middle just kind of filled itself in with offering the guidance, the support. We decided to literally create a vertically integrated structure for the entire business.
Oh, wow. And
yeah.
what was the toughest thing you guys went through when you first started branching into the hemp line?
Yeah. Well, I think in all different pieces of it, the growing side, the business side, and then even in the marketing, structure, there was challenges all the way throughout, of course, as there always is, definitely with a startup. But I would say on the growing side, it was just finding the information on how to grow these plants well. So we did start those seedlings, but then we also grew test plots outside. We did 6 different test plots of those plants outside. We grew them all the way through harvest, and we actually did process those down into crude. That is the crude we're using today to make our retail line. So I guess the first challenge would be in the growing side, just learning the cultivation of the plant and getting good at it, learning from the experts, the people that have already been doing it, not trying to reinvent the wheel, but, taking those tips and really learning there. I think on the business side of things, the biggest challenge would be, learning where we get to play and offer without the FDA regulating on it yet. We want to follow all the compliances and state laws, but everybody knows that it can get a little tricky and people aren't comfortable with it yet. Some people are super comfortable. So just bridging that gap between people that are not quite so sure how to use CBD and what it is, and bringing it into maybe turning it into a routine type of supplement for them. And then, as we all go through the licensing part of it, finding a bank that works, those are all challenges, but we've got a lot of that figured out now and have really good resources for other people that sign on with us to follow some of the same routes that we did, so they don't have to face those same challenges right away. We can kind of guide them through that. And then I guess on the marketing side, just kind of figuring out what you can and cannot say, not making false claims, and learning how to create our labels to the highest FDA standards, even though they're not regulating on it. So lots of challenges, but I would say that we definitely just wanted to keep moving in this space. So we've taken each one and just figured it out.
Of course. And if you had to start over from day one with everything you know now, what would you have done differently?
That's a tough question, I guess, because there's just so many moving pieces. I would say that if we could start over, just way from the beginning, it's just kind of, we switched our product line up a little bit. We started with just offering tinctures, and then we kind of moved into the topical side of things. And I think that maybe off the bat, if we had some more education out there to our current customer base, just helping people feel a little bit more comfortable with the topical side of stuff, the tincture side of stuff, and just getting ahead of that educational movement. We tried pretty hard to make that a big part of our, marketing, and our mission is to help educate people, but there's still to this day just so much unknown with people. We've become so normalized to it because we work in the industry every day, but when you look at it, some people just have some really basic questions. So possibly just lining our product line up with a little bit more educational information out the back.
Oh, I got you. So what would you say too is the toughest part about being in the hemp industry this year in 2021?
I think that as we've all kind of experienced, the market fluctuation is definitely really tough. So just dealing with, having all these farmers with this leftover biomass and crude and not really knowing where or how to sell it, and then having that stock kind of stockpiled up, and then the market's just fluxing up and down. So it's kind of harder for farmers to sell stuff right now. People still want to grow, but they're not sure. So I think that would be the hardest thing. And then in Wisconsin, I'm not sure about other states, but Wisconsin's, our licenses actually dropped from 1,300 to about 300 this year versus last year. So there's a lot less growers this year. So that could help the market in the fall. It could, we're not really quite sure where that's going to go yet. But that is one of the other reasons that we decided to take our business the way that we did. And so we don't just do the retail, we also do like white label and wholesale products for other CBD companies. So if they're farmers and they have crude and they want to create their own brand, we'll help them make that happen. We can help them, make the tinctures and the muscle creams, create labels and label that for them, send them white label products without a label. They can label it when they get there. And that, I think, is kind of one way that we're helping make another end market for it, I suppose, or maybe just utilizing the one that's already there. So we focus a lot in the health space as well. So we're not so much focused on CBD shops, smoke shops, trying to sell our product into those kinds of arenas. Our goal is to really just focus on health communities. So it kind of helps our vision of helping people live better lives, but we want to hit chiropractors, acupuncturists, people that are working in the health space already, pharmacies. We have our retail line in a couple of the pharmacies around our area. We have a wholesale line in some chiropractors. So that's really our focus, is the health side of things. And I think that when you kind of open your eyes and open the doors to different markets that you didn't realize were there, that's where we're going to see a lot more of benefit and more of a market for it.
Gotcha. So yeah, if a customer was to choose between like your business and 3 other businesses just like yours, so why would you suggest that they give you a try first, at least?
Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of depends on what they're looking for. Are these people, looking to grow and produce their own end thing, or just want somebody to produce tincture for them to support their own pre-made brand? I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what that person is looking for. But the best part is that we're really relationship based. So when we start a business relationship with you, we plan to make that a long one. So we're not going to just try to satisfy your immediate needs, but we're going to try to stick with you and kind of help you build your side of things. So that way it's a win-win for both of us for the long term.
Got it. And what's the number one way you guys currently bring in new customers?
Just hitting that health side of things as well, focusing on that. But also we did, other than the greenhouse, we did actually move into a lab space in Baldwin. We've remodeled this into a completely GMP certified, USDA food processing certified lab, where we can actually do all of the things from co-packing food products to creating CBD products and, selling those as white label, wholesale, or retail. So having those certifications under our belts kind of gives us that one step up, that we're doing things diligently. We're following the regulations up to what they could be. Even though CBD isn't regulated by the FDA, we do predict that is going to happen. And so we want to be prepared for when it does. Therefore, we got our GMP certification. We're following all the FDA guidelines when it comes to producing a supplemental or a cosmetic type of product. And that's just our goal, is just create it super high quality so people know what they're getting.
Oh yeah, gotcha. And has the internet played a big role in the growth of the company?
Yes, definitely. We don't have a retail shop ourselves. We have our lab location, which is where we do, people can come in and stop in and buy products out of the lab. But mostly our sales are e-commerce for our retail line. Through our website, we also can gather people from a wholesale perspective. We do a lot of outreach through emails, calls, finding companies around us that would be possibly interested in trying. But I would definitely say the internet has had a huge impact on our business and helped us grow. Definitely through COVID, when a lot of businesses were shut down and we had to be careful about who we brought in for tours and who we were, welcoming into our location. E-commerce was pretty much the best way to get our brand out there and start sharing.
I got you. In say 6 months to a year down the line, where do you want to see the business headed? What's the goal right there?
Yeah, definitely. So We have started bringing on two currently large white label and wholesale customers, and how that helps our farmers with this vertically integrated structure is that when we can bring on these wholesalers, we're currently moving about 1,500 to 3,000 tinctures a month. As we continue to bring those on, we will be working through that crude and the isolate that we have stockpiled from our farms, but also our farmers. So our goal is to bring on a couple more of large wholesalers this year, which we're predicting is actually going to happen in the next 60 days or so. And that will ultimately be able to allow us to start contracting out more grows for our farmers and buying back that product from our farmers to be able to support them to grow again. So right now you're seeing farmers growing, then they do a great job and they have all this product left over, but nowhere to go with it. Our goal is to give them that outlet. And I definitely think that in the next 12 months, it's going to be super possible for a handful of our experienced farmers.
Gotcha. So I think earlier in our conversation, you mentioned that you work with people in like the Twin Cities and Chicago. So like, you have plans to like go past those territories as well too?
So yeah, a lot of that was mostly on the produce side. So we're shipping produce, lettuce, microgreens into the Twin Cities restaurants, grocery stores, and those things. The hemp side, we do support like the whole Midwest. So we work with those genetic partners to get seed and seedlings. We do ship seedlings if they have all of their licensure and everything. They can transport them into Minnesota. We mainly focus on farmers in Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, and Michigan. Transportation is just always, going to be something that they either need to work out or we can have some resources for as well when they're picking up their seedlings and whatnot. But when it comes to seed, we're capable of shipping that wherever.
Got it. I know one challenge some people in the cannabis industry has faced is sometimes with transportation. So like, have for anybody out there listening and they're having issues with transporting the goods, what would you recommend for transportation?
Yeah, so when it comes to the seedlings, our seedlings are germinated, grown in the greenhouse for about 3 weeks. So when farmers pick up these seedlings, they are about 2 to 3 weeks old. They have a pretty good stem structure. They're about 3 to 4 nodes. They are pre-acclimated, but as we all know, seedlings are pretty, fragile in their beginning stages. So an enclosed trailer, we've had farmers pick up with truck beds with tonneau covers. We grow in 72 count trays. So figuring out, I think the biggest challenge with transportation would be then figuring out how much space you need. We've had some farmers come with their trailer and then they figure out it's not enough room. And then we got to get creative with how to pack those seedlings in there. But yeah, definitely just, we coach our farmers through picking them up, keeping them watered enough during transportation, making sure that enclosed trailers don't get too hot because usually it is around end of May, early June when our farmers pick up. So depending on the weather, just making sure that they make it back to where they're going to be planted so they're nice and healthy.
Oh yeah, so you've had cases where like during the transport some of the seeds got spoiled?
I wouldn't say the seeds, no, definitely not. The seedlings, if it's not being transported well, they can get damaged. With any living plant, that can happen. So just taking precaution not to put them where they're going to fall if you take a sharp turn or something like that. That's mostly the only issues that we've had. Yeah.
What about with banks too? Have you found a solution for that?
With what?
Because another issue too, some people some businesses in the cannabis space have faced is like some banks won't accept them because of it's a hemp-based business.
Yeah, so that was a challenge that we had, was figuring out the banking and how we run all of our card sales and all of that, and who we work with because of that problem right there. So we're working with some banks now that are, hemp friendly, and we can help direct people to those companies as they have questions.
Yeah. So are they the local banks?
Yeah. So we work with a local bank here that does that. Yep. And then we're currently working through a merchant processor switch to somebody that will be able to support the hemp sales a little bit better. And since it's not all the way through yet, I'm not really going to release who that is yet, but yes, because we're still kind of working through that. But yeah.
Oh, cool. No, yeah, because I know in an earlier interview with Brian Valencia, he was using Bank of America, and
Hmm.
then they shut out his account so that he had to find a
Yeah,
solution. He went to his local bank and everything's good. And he's like, hey, I like this better because now I know it's more personable.
definitely. And then, they have more of a relationship with you anyway if you're in the area. And I mean, that's just one of our things is support local whenever you can, definitely.
Or
So
I think to ultimate down the line though, the big banks they'll allow hemp businesses in, just like when though. But
we think we feel strongly that as soon as the FDA rules on CBD and allows it for regulation and begins regulating it, we think we can foresee a lot of opportunity coming out of that. We think that banks will become more stable and start offering those. We think that, the CBD market will increase because now all these companies that have been a little bit too worried to jump into this space will begin offering products with CBD in it. So we're looking forward to that day.
oh, of course. But I mean, another thing too, if you're starting a CBD company, you have to have like all the relationships with the farmers and all the raw
Yeah,
materials, and everybody else in the industry. It's not like you can just get in. There's barriers to entry.
definitely.
Even we have the licenses as well too, and insurance. It's not, yeah. It doesn't. You guys still have to. You still invest a lot to get all of that.
Definitely. Yep.
And yeah, where do you see like the future of the industry heading as well too?
A little bit like I mentioned just a bit ago, but we're really looking forward to, when the FDA starts to rule on CBD and creates it as a regulated product. It's going to be a lot easier for the larger companies to jump in and start using CBD. So we see that growing hemp is going to somewhat become a commodity, but probably it's still better prices than other things like corn and soybean. But we're hoping that when the FDA rules, it'll allow well, one, it's going to force producers like us to maintain the certifications they need to produce a high quality FDA regulated product. So that's one of the reasons we jumped on the bandwagon and got the GMP certification right off the bat, even though we're not required to. So that way we're covered when this does happen. You're going to see a lot of the producers and processors that are not certified in that area not be able to keep going because the FDA is going to require those. So it's going to, we think, probably lessen the pool of processors, producers of CBD products and kind of strain those out to the few that are really certified and good at what they do. And then when it comes to the growing side, we're hoping that it'll allow the market for more farmers to be able to grow and actually profit because all these other companies are going to be using CBD in their products.
Ah, ah,
Yeah, so we're hoping, and that's what our goals too is start farmers early, get them just doing a little bit, maybe a half acre, quarter acre, learning how to do the plant well. So that way, when things do change with the law, they'll already have the experience. They'll know exactly what goes into it. They'll be able to, balance out their costs and figure out how much they want to grow and hopefully do it organically and be able to, yeah, profit off of it.
I know because you were mentioning that piece too about it being a commodity. I see that happening in the future where it will be like, oh, it'll be on the stock market. It'll be like
Right.
people can purchase it as a stock or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, definitely, yeah, and it's gonna be yeah. I think too, like even in the Midwest as well too, and like other places where there was in these industrial areas with these rundown like mills and warehouses. A lot of those are going to be. I think a lot of those are going to be converted into growing operations. It'll bring back jobs to those economies.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where I see that headed. Yeah, and for all the listeners out there too, so like, what advice would you give to somebody who's about to start in the hemp space?
Yeah. I would say if you're a farmer looking to grow, get in early, learn how to do it. Maybe, start small, but just get your hands dirty, learn how to do it, and just keep focusing on how to get better each year. It's definitely a learning curve if you've never grown hemp before. There's a lot of other pieces that go into it, but it's definitely a good place to start. If you're looking to open up your own CBD retail line and your business line, just I definitely recommend the e-commerce route. Opening a retail shop, has a lot of overhead to it, and online sales are going crazy right now. But the main thing is to make sure you're offering a high quality product and figure out a way to make your product stand out. And maybe that's the market you choose to kind of go for. Maybe it's the CBD smoke shop, space. Maybe it's the health space, but I don't know, just having all of that figured out before you launch your product, I think is really important. Figuring out what makes you different because there's a lot of CBD brands out there right now.
Oh yeah, got it. Oh, so I know too. Like, I was gonna get into like the different types of products. So like we see oils, tinctures, yeah,
Yeah.
like topical creams, like if gummies. If you were to say like, oh, the next food item that's going to be infused with CBD, what do you think it's going to be?
Oh boy, the next food item. Yeah. I think, well, I know that these are already being made, but like cooking oils, chocolates are already pretty popular, but in that space, I think that those are some upcoming things. Anything that people can use in cooking. So when restaurants maybe start infusing drinks or start infusing some of their foods with it, I think that that's really cool. We also just sampled a fizzy water with CBD in it, and I myself love like seltzers, like just bubbly or LaCroix. So I think that the CBD line of that is going to be kind of cool. When it comes to us, we just offer honey sticks, gummies for our edible line of stuff. We do chocolates on occasion for like Valentine's Day and some of the special marketing times, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking one thing that chips, like potato chips, and food CBD, or like
Yeah.
pretzels, some snack food like that.
Yeah, we're our focus is the health space. So we're going to try to maybe shoot for salad dressings or, something like that. But yeah, no, I can definitely see all kinds of those things coming about. Definitely when the FDA starts to regulate it, I think a lot of these bigger companies like Coca-Cola and stuff will jump in and possibly start adding it. So
Even on Food Network, they show Chopped. They're coming out with like a Chopped 420 where it's going to
yeah,
be something with like cannabis infused.
yeah, I think it's going to be a big thing with the restaurants. I mean, definitely in the Twin Cities, we've already seen some of them starting to play in that space, but I think it'll become a lot more normalized here.
I think so too. I think there would be like some restaurants specializing in saying like, hey, all our foods are cooked with CBD and hemp related
Right.
products
Yeah.
in some way.
And yeah, and I think that hemp leaves will also be some people are actually using them as like smoothie additives, garnishes almost, but so we'll see.
Even with the tourism industry too, like I think it could be similar to wine, how people go visit a wine or a vineyard, and then
Yeah.
sometimes those vineyards have restaurants in there, like farm to table. So I see that happening too with the cannabis space. They'll go to like all these different areas.
Yeah, and agritourism has always been a great supplemental income to any kind of farm. So like if there's can be, like a pumpkin patch and an apple orchard, why can't there be a hemp field walkthrough? I think that would be cool too.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah, definitely. I think yeah, it's gonna affect a lot of economies too in a positive way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and what's the best way for somebody to get hold of you? To
Yeah. So through our website, futurefarmhemp.com, we are going through some website remodels right now. So some of it's a bit clunky, but we're working on getting that figured out in the next few weeks. But otherwise, email us at info@futurefarmhemp.com. There's just our general email. We take questions. Anyone interested in kind of getting a quote for what it might cost for white label, any of those types of items. Otherwise, my personal email is taylorn@futurefarmhemp.com. I'm the genetic program coordinator, so I help the farmers. I do the 12-year guidance thing. So if you want to talk genetics, seeds, seedlings, I'd be the one to contact. Otherwise, yeah, just email us or visit our website.
awesome. Any other last words before we head off?
I don't think so. I'm just awesome. I think it's awesome you started this group, and I think this is a great way to network with others in the industry and just, start opening it up to everyone. So
yeah,
thanks for having me today. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, everybody tuning in, we're signing off. It was great to speak with you, Taylor, and hopefully we'll have you on for future interviews.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. Hope to talk to you guys sometime. So thank you.
Yep. Bye.